Hello and happy Thursday. Welcome to another Lunch and Learn with Purse Strings. My name is Maggie Nielsen and I am a partner here at Purse Strings. We're all about providing tips, tricks, pieces of advice on how to be financially fearless. And then when you're planning for retirement and Social Security, maybe you're getting married, getting divorced, need some life insurance, whatever it may be, we have top tier financial professionals willing, ready, and able to serve you. We call those our Purse Strings approved professionals, and Diane Robinson is one of them. We are so excited to have her on today to talk about savvy Social Security planning for women. I know this is a huge topic, so I'm excited to dive in today. But before we get into all that fun, Diane, could you give us a little intro of who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm an investment advisor with IP Financial Advisory Services. I've been doing Social Security planning for quite a few years. And the one thing I've learned is that women need it more than men. I hate to say that, but we do. And so I'm really happy to be here today and to be able to help and shed some light on some of the things that women should and could be doing.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the conversation. I know you brought some great examples and, to really see what these different effects have on our Social Security. And I know you're doing a little giveaway as well today. So let's just, let our viewers know what we're offering up before we get started.
Well, I'm giving 2 complimentary Social Security planning reports to two guests. So
awesome.
You can pick those guests.
All right.
And,
yeah. All right. Put your name in the comments or email us, and we will pick 2 to send over to Diane to get those complete reports. If there's any questions along the way, please feel free to put them in the comments and we will work on getting to those. But otherwise, let's dive into this conversation.
Okay, just give me a second to bring up the PowerPoint.
Awesome, here we go. So if you have any questions along the way, put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're doing 2 complimentary reports. If you jump in the comments and let us know. But otherwise, it looks like we are up and running. So it's over to you, Diane.
So you can see me or see the presentation? Okay, well, I want to, again, welcome everyone, and I'm glad you're here. Today, we're going to talk about savvy Social Security planning for women. And Social Security planning is very important to women because we represent 56% of all Social Security beneficiaries age 62 and older, and about 66% of all beneficiaries age 85 and older. And whether you're married or single, divorced or widowed, there are certain strategies you can use to give you more benefits over your lifetime. And we're going to talk about some of those strategies today. So my first question to you is, how confident are you in your ability to retire comfortably? This question was recently posed to 5,900 men and women who are still working. And not surprisingly, women are less confident in their ability to retire comfortably. 36% said they were either not too confident or not confident at all, compared to 28% of men. And another survey asked about some of the financial aspects of retirement. Will you have enough money to live comfortably throughout your retirement years? And only 11% of unmarried women said yes. Okay, so living comfortably, we can forget about that. Will you have enough to meet basic expenses during retirement? That's another question. Just 23% of unmarried women said yes. And are you doing a good job of preparing financially for retirement? Only 15% of unmarried women said yes. Now, you have to remember that many of these unmarried women were at one time married. Whether through divorce or widowhood, many married women end up single at the end of their life. So women in general have greater concerns about their retirement security, yet do less than needed to plan for adequately addressing those concerns. This quote came from a study by MetLife on women, retirement, and the extra long life. Unfortunately, it's true in too many cases, but at least you're here. So whether this is your first step for you or you're one of the savvy ones who have been planning for retirement all along, gathering information about Social Security and other sources of income in retirement is what you need to do to take care of yourself financially. Now, so let's deal with some realities. In general, women have lower lifetime earnings, lower pensions, and longer lives than men. Women have made a lot of strides in the work world, but there's still a pay gap. On average, women earn 82 cents for every dollar earned by men. So how does this affect you? Well, it translates to lower retirement savings, lower pension, and lower Social Security benefits. Yet women tend to live longer than men, so you need these resources even more today than before. That gender pay gap means that a full-time working woman will earn $406,000 less. Let me repeat that again. $406,000 less than her male counterpart over 40 years. And that's according to a recent study by the National Women's Law Center. Translated another way, a woman needs to work 50 years compared to a man's 40 years just to break even with him. Now, everybody's situation is different, of course, but I just want to mention the value of working a few more years. By not being in such a rush to retire, you may be able to pay down debt, add to your retirement savings, reduce the number of years that you have to draw from assets in retirement, and raise your Social Security benefit. It's just a thought, and I'm just throwing it out there so that you know that this is one of the options that's available. Okay, so let's talk about the subject you came here to learn about, the value of Social Security and how you may be able to increase your lifetime benefits. Women love Social Security, and the reason is simple. It offers income you can't outlive. Ida Mae Fuller, you may not know this, was the first recipient of the monthly Social Security check. She lived to the age of 100. She received Social Security right up until the month she died. If your monthly Social Security benefit is $2,000 and you live 10 more years, you'll receive a total of $300,000 in lifetime benefits. If you live 30 more years, you'll receive nearly $1 million. Hard to believe, isn't it? Because Social Security provides inflation-adjusted income for life, the best way to get the most out of Social Security is to live a really, really long life. Now, the previous slide showed the total benefits you might receive depending on how long you live. This slide shows how your annual income could grow with cost of living adjustments, which I'll refer to as COLA. If your benefit is $2,000 and annual COLAs average 2%, your monthly income in 10 years will be $2,438. In 30 years, it will be $3,623. Again, when it comes to getting the most out of Social Security, it pays to live a very long life. Okay, now for the fun stuff. Social Security rules and strategies. These can be somewhat complex depending on your marital status, but it's definitely worth understanding the different rules and strategies because it's what can help you get more out of the system. So here are the questions you need to be asking yourself. Do you qualify for benefits on your own record? That is, you paid into Social Security for at least 10 years. If you paid into Social Security for at least 10 years during your lifetime, it doesn't matter if those 10 years occurred all in one stretch, early in your life or later in your life, or if they were broken up. You just need 10 years of fairly minimal earnings. Are you currently married? And has your husband started receiving his Social Security benefits? It will become clear later why we're asking these questions. You and your husband may be able to receive spousal benefits, and we'll explain that strategy later. Have there been any previous marriages? Regardless of whether or not you're currently married, have you been married before? Are there any former husbands, dead or alive, lurking out there? Believe it or not, you may be able to receive Social Security benefits based on a former husband's work record. If your previous marriage ended in divorce, if it lasted over 10 years, and if you're currently unmarried, you may qualify for divorced spouse benefits. And according to Maggie, that's one of the big questions for today from most of you. If you're divorced and your ex-husband is deceased, you may qualify for divorced spouse survivor benefits. And we'll talk about those later. Even if you're currently married, you could receive survivor benefits based on a former husband's work record, as long as your current marriage took place after age 60. So don't try to memorize these rules right now because you're not going to be able to. And you'll probably get them a little confused, but we'll get around to everything. Okay, so depending on the answer to the previous questions, you could be entitled to one or more of the following: retirement benefit, spousal benefit, divorced spouse benefits, or survivor benefits. How you coordinate all these benefits is crucial in determining your overall Social Security income. So let's pause for a moment to define some Social Security terms. The first concept is to understand full retirement age. This is the age at which you may claim full, unreduced Social Security benefits. And a lot of people think of age 62 when they think of Social Security. But if you claim your Social Security benefits at 62, it will be permanently reduced by 25% or more. To get your full benefits, you must wait until full retirement age to claim it. If you were born between 1943 and 1954, your full retirement age is 66. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. And as you can see from the chart, starting with someone who's born in 1955, you add 2 months each year, and that's how you get up to the 67. The next important concept to understand is your primary insurance amount. We won't go into the benefit formula today, but basically your benefit is based on your work history. The system uses your highest 35 years of earnings to calculate your benefit. The higher those earnings are, up to the annual Social Security taxable maximum, the higher your benefit will be. This is one reason why we encourage women to work a little longer. If you've taken time out of the workforce to raise children or to go back to school, there may be some zeros in your earnings record. If you keep working, you may be able to replace some of those zeros with higher earnings and raise your benefits. To find your primary insurance amount, just look at your annual Social Security statement. It's your benefit amount at your full retirement age. In this example, the benefit amount of full retirement age is $2,119 per month. This is the primary insurance amount, or PIA. Now let's talk about retirement benefits. As I said before, if you've worked at least 10 years in a job that paid into Social Security, you will be entitled to some type of retirement benefit. If you're over 60, the Social Security sends you an annual statement 3 months before your birthday, and that shows the amount of benefits you may be entitled to when you retire. If you're under 60 or for any other reason want to access your statement online, you can go to socialsecurity.gov/my account. You'll need to answer some questions relating to your credit history, and these are for security reasons. And once you answer those and set up your account, you'll be able to access your statement at any time in the future. By the way, if you're already receiving Social Security, there is no statement for you. The Social Security Administration stopped generating statements for people who are already receiving some form of Social Security benefits. You can also access the retirement estimator through your My Social Security account. This method taps into your work history and gives you an estimate similar to what you could see on your statement. While you're looking at that tax history, make sure that it's correct. Sometimes they have incorrect information in there that may affect your benefits. So you want to make sure that you're getting the full credit for every year that you paid for the amount that you paid. Another way is to use one of the calculators on the Social Security website. So you can go to ss.gov, which is socialsecurityadministration.gov/planners/benefit calculators.htm. There are several calculators offered there, from quick and easy to more detailed. We talked about your primary insurance amount, or PIA, which is the amount of your benefit if you apply for a Social Security at full retirement age. But what happens if you apply at a different age? If you apply for Social Security retirement benefits before full retirement age, you will receive a percentage of your PIA. If your full retirement age is 67 and you claim at 62, you'll receive 70% of your PIA. So if your PIA is 2,000, your permanent benefit will be 1,400. And let me repeat that again. It's a permanent benefit. The difference between 1,400 and 2,000 may not seem like very much now, but over time, claiming early can make a huge difference in the amount of total benefits you receive, as well as the amount you receive each month.
That's just so huge to me. I just want to jump in, take a breath for a moment, but
Okay.
just highlight again, that's not, when you get to full retirement age, you'd get that 2,000. That's not how that works. So that's an opportunity that you lost of $600 almost every month, which is huge for the rest of your life.
It is. I mean, if you look at today where inflation is up, that difference that you lost may have been the difference in being able to afford a little more in groceries or to pay your bill.
I mean, yeah, that could be huge. So this is great information. I'll let you continue.
Well, conversely, if you apply for Social Security after full retirement age, now this is the good part, your benefit will go up by 8% for each year you delay. So if your full retirement age is 67 and you apply at 68, your benefit will be 108% of your PIA. At 69, it will be 116%. And at 70, it will be 124%. So if your PIA is 2,000 and you wait until age 70 to apply, your permanent benefit will be $2,480 per month.
It's huge.
Now, so we're going to get into some claiming options. So let's say you turn 62 and your PIA is 2,000. If you apply at 62, your permanent benefit will be $1,400 per month. By age 70, with annual cost of living adjustments, your monthly income will go up to about $1,640. Or you could delay applying until age 70. At that time, your benefit will have grown with the 8% annual delayed credits and the annual cost of living adjustments. If you apply at age 70, your income at 70 will be significantly higher than it will if you apply at 62. And I also want to point out that 8% is guaranteed. Each year, the increase in Social Security, it fluctuates. But those years after 67 to 70 do not. So, all right, so let's go to the next one. So here are the claiming options. Oh, sorry, I already did that one. I don't know why it's going backwards on me. Okay, so you can see where the disparity is. So when you're 85 years old, your monthly income will be $2,208 if you apply for Social Security at age 62, or $3,911 if you apply at 70. This can make a huge difference in your standard of living. These amounts in the third column may seem high to you right now, but they won't seem high when a loaf of bread costs $15. And I hope that doesn't happen. But keep in mind that these numbers are based on annual 2% inflation adjustments. The actual inflation adjustments could turn out to be different, as I mentioned before. So what happens when you apply for Social Security? So when you apply is a question that's very complex and really requires a customized analysis. But here are a few points to remember. If you apply early, your benefit starts out at some fraction of your PIA and remains at that percentage for the rest of your life. Your benefit amount is locked in at the time you apply and only goes up with annual COLAs. COLAs magnify the impact of early or delayed retirement because the annual cost of living adjustment is applied to either the lower or the higher amount. This causes a disparity to increase with each passing year. Then when to apply question impacts survivor benefits as well. In fact, if your husband earned more than you did so that his PIA is higher than yours, it is even more important for him to delay filing. This will increase your survivor benefit. If he dies first, his higher benefit will transfer over to you. So you want to do whatever it takes to maximize that survivor benefit. The way to do that is to have him apply for his benefit at age 70. And this conversely works. If you have the higher PIA, it works for him the same way that it works for you. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So getting stuck with a reduced benefit is not the only reason not to file for Social Security before retirement age. Another reason is that you are still working. Some of or all of your benefit may be withheld due to the earnings test. So for every $1 in benefits that you earn, $1 in benefits will be held for every $2 that you earn over $21,240 in 2023. Now, typically this amount goes up. So it's $21,240 this year. It's probably going to be a little bit higher next year. Now, this is not a reason not to keep working. You're going to need those extra earnings both now and in retirement. If you're managing to save some of your income, but it is a reason not to apply for Social Security before your full retirement age. After you turn full retirement age, there's no earnings test. So you can receive your full Social Security benefit and earn as much money as you want from working without any benefits being held or reduced. Another reason not to file for Social Security before full retirement age is that you might not be able to take advantage of some of the savvy spousal strategies, which we're going to talk about next. Okay, so now let's talk about spousal benefits. When Social Security was first instituted in 1935, most women didn't work. So the system allows for spousal benefits to be paid where a woman can draw Social Security off her husband's work record. Now, of course, most women qualify for a retirement benefit on their own work record, but you still may be able to take advantage of spousal benefits. And because Social Security is gender neutral, your husband may be able to take advantage of the spousal benefits too. So let's start with a simple example. Jack and Jill are married. Jack's PIA is $2,400. Jill never works, so she doesn't qualify for Social Security on her own work record. After Jack files for his benefit, Jill can file for her spousal benefit. The amount will be 50% of his PIA if she files for it at her full retirement age. If she files early at 62, it will be 35% of his PIA. Now let's talk about how to coordinate your own retirement benefit and your spousal benefit. There are some rules you have to follow here. By knowing the rules, you can make them work to your advantage. First, if you file Social Security before full retirement age, you will receive your own reduced benefit first. If your PIA is less than 50% of your husband's PIA, you may also receive a spousal benefit, providing your husband has filed for his benefit. And this is one thing that trips people up. They seem to think that if the husband hasn't filed, that they can go ahead and file for spousal benefits. That's not true. The spouse that has the higher PIA has to retire first to be able to get half of his or hers. If your PIA is more than 50% of your husband's PIA, you will not receive a spousal benefit at all. So let's see how that works. Let's say Jack's PIA is again $2,400 and Jill's is $800. Jill files for Social Security at 62. Before looking at any spousal benefits, she will be paid her own benefit first. It will be 70% of her $800 PIA, or $560. So now let's say that Jack is 4 years older and has already filed for his benefit. This makes Jill eligible for a spousal benefit. So let's see how much it will be. To calculate the spousal add-on, they will subtract her PIA from one half of his PIA, so that $1,200 minus $800, which equals $400. Then that amount will also be reduced for early claiming. The $400 will be multiplied by 0.65 to get $260. So adding together the $560 reduced retirement benefit and the $260 reduced spousal add-on, Jill will wind up with a total benefit of $820, which, if you think about it, her benefit would have been $800. So it's not much more, but it still is more than what she would get if she takes it early. Note that this is less than 50% of Jack's PIA. That's because Jill filed early. Mm-hmm. Now, if you file for your full retirement age and you qualify for a spousal benefit, you may receive the maximum spousal benefit, which is 50% of your spouse's PIA. Or if your own benefit is higher, you will receive that amount. There's a special option for those born before January the 2nd, 1954. You can restrict your application to your spousal benefit and receive that benefit for 4 years while your own benefit builds 8% annual delayed credits. This is a loophole that is being phased out, but is still available for a few people. So here's how it works. You file a restricted application for your spousal benefit at 66, and then switch to your maximum retirement benefit at 70. Remember, this is only available to you if the spouse filing the restricted application, which is Jill in this case, was born before January the 2nd, 1954. So let's say Jack's PIA is $2,000 and Jill's is $2,400. When Jill turns 66, she files a restricted application for her spousal benefit and receives $1,200 per month from ages 66 to 70. When she turns 70, she switches to her higher retirement benefit of $3,168, which has increased by 8% per year while she was receiving the spousal benefit. Please note the following alerts. Jill cannot file a restricted application for spousal benefits before full retirement age. As I mentioned earlier, if she files for Social Security before full retirement age, she will be paid her own benefit first, and it will be reduced. The whole idea here is to delay your own benefits so it will earn those 8% annual delayed credits. Jack must have filed for his benefit. This is a requirement for spousal benefits, as I mentioned before. As you can imagine, this was a great loophole, and that's why Congress put a stop to it. Excuse me, but if you're grandfathered or grandmothered, you can still do it. If you think you might qualify for this strategy, please be sure to call me or talk to someone who knows something about Social Security planning. Now we come to divorce spouse benefits. If you were married over 10 years to the same husband and are currently unmarried, pay attention. Here are the rules. If your marriage lasted at least 10 years, if you're currently unmarried, and if your ex-husband is at least 62, you may be entitled to a divorce spouse benefit. If the divorce occurred more than 2 years ago, he does not need to have filed for his own benefit. He only needs to be age 62. So here's an example. Dick and Dora are divorced. They were married more than 10 years. Dora's 62 or older and currently unmarried. Dick's PIA is $2,400. He is over 62, and Dora files for her divorce spouse benefit at her full retirement age and starts receiving 50% of Dick's PIA, or $1,200. Hard to believe, isn't it? But it's true. Dick's own benefit will not be affected. His current wife's spousal benefit will not be affected, and Dick's other ex-wives' divorce spouse benefits will not be affected. If he has 3 ex-wives, and if he was married to each one of them for 10 years, all 3 ex-wives may receive full divorce spousal benefit off of Dick's record, and his current wife can receive her spousal benefit as well. The Social Security framers probably didn't think that serial marriages would one day become fairly common when they developed these rules, but here we are, and we most certainly can take advantage of them.
This is always something I find so interesting because a lot of people think that they have to talk to the ex about it, or it affects the ex, and it's like, no, everyone gets their own pie. It's not like you take from somebody else's. Everyone gets their own different chunk.
Yeah, and as I will explain in a few minutes, that the ex-spouse doesn't even know that you took the benefits. So unless you tell him or her.
Right.
So we'll go to the next. The savvy divorce spouse strategy is like the savvy spousal strategy with a couple of small differences. When you turn full retirement age, you file a restricted application for your divorce spouse benefit. When you turn 70, you switch to your maximum retirement benefit. Unfortunately, this strategy is being phased out and is only available if you had turned 62 by the end of 2016. So let me just emphasize, if you were 62 or older at the end of 2015, you're a grandfather for this strategy, which is an excellent way to increase your benefit, which is why the lawmakers took it away. That's why you want to take advantage of it if you're eligible for it, and you can. So here's an example. Dick's PIA is $2,400. Dora's PIA is $2,000. When Dora turns 66, she files a restricted application for her divorce spouse benefit and receives $1,200 per month from ages 66 to 70. When Dora turns 70, she switches to her higher retirement benefit of $2,640, which will probably be higher now because of COLAs. As with the savvy spousal strategy, Dora must have been 62 or older by the end of 2015. That is, she must have been born before 1954. She cannot do this before full retirement age. Remember, if she files for Social Security before full retirement age, she will be paid her own benefit, and it will be permanently reduced. She may not restrict her application to her spousal benefit until she turns full retirement age. So here are the difference. Dick has to be at least 62, but he does not need to have filed for his benefit if the divorce occurred over 2 years ago. And get this, Dick can also file for a divorce spouse benefit on Dora's record. The idea here is that divorced spouses can't control whether the other spouse will or won't file. So that's just not part of the rule for receiving divorced spouses benefit. Your ex-husband could be receiving a divorced spouse benefit based on your record, and you would never even know about it.
Right.
Okay, that one went back. Sorry. I don't know why that's going back. So we're going to do survivor benefits next. Okay, so let's talk about survivor benefits. You probably can't even imagine this now, but if you were married or if you're divorced, your husband or your ex-husband might die before you do. Odds are he will, since women on average live longer than men. So you might at some point in your life become eligible for a survivor benefit. If that survivor benefit is higher than the benefit you are receiving at the time of your husband or ex-husband's death, you can switch to the higher benefit. So even though it may be a long way off, you need to understand how survivor benefits work, because certain decisions made now can affect the amount that you receive later. Sorry, I don't know why it's flipping back, so I apologize for that.
No worries.
Okay, so now I want you to follow this carefully, because the amount of your survivor benefit can vary greatly. It depends on two things. The first factor is when your deceased spouse originally claimed his benefit. This is called the original benefit. The second factor is when you claim that benefit. That is called the actual benefit. These two events are usually separated in time. For example, your husband could claim his Social Security benefit at 62 and then live to be 80 or 90 years old. You won't claim the survivor benefit until he dies 20 or 30 years in the future. But the fact that he took his benefit at 62 means it will be much lower than if he had taken it at 70. Husbands don't often think about this when they are 62 and deciding when to apply for Social Security. In this example, Jack's PIA is $2,400 and he dies at age 70 or later. The original survivor benefit will be $2,976 if he had claimed his Social Security benefit at age 70. This is because his benefit will include 3 years of 8% annual delayed credits to bring the $2,400 up to $2,976, or it will be just $1,980 if he had claimed it at 62. Let me ask you this. Do you think Jill would rather have a survivor benefit of $2,976 or $1,980? So unless she's a crazy woman, she'd opt for the $2,976. What does she need to do to make this happen? She needs to get to Jack before he turns 62 and tell him to file for Social Security benefits at 70, not 62. This is why we say that women should be the Social Security decision makers for the family. The age at which Jack files for his benefit will directly affect Jill's survivor benefits, so she's the one who should be making that decision. Now we get to Jill's actual benefit. We've already seen that the original benefit could be anywhere from $1,980 to $2,976, depending on when Jack filed for his benefit. Now let's say that Jack has died and Jill is wondering when she should apply for her survivor benefits. If she's over 60, she can apply at any time. In fact, if she goes to her Social Security office and tells them that Jack has died, they will probably encourage her to go ahead and apply for her survivor benefits right away. Social Security people are in the business of helping people get all the benefits they're entitled to right now. But from a long-term perspective, this may not be the best move for you. The amount you start with is the amount you will be stuck with throughout your life, so it pays to start with the highest amount possible. As you can see on this table, if Jill applies for her survivor benefits at age 60, she will get a fraction of the original amount, which is just $1,716 per month. We can also see that if Jack had applied for his benefit at 62, Jill will get a much smaller survivor benefit, regardless of when she claims it. The most she can get is $1,980. But if Jack had claimed at 70, and if Jill claims her survivor benefit at her full retirement age or later, she can get as much as $2,976. As you can see, there's a huge disparity in these benefit amounts, from a low of $1,716 to a high of $2,976, depending on the decisions that you make. These decisions will determine Jill's standard of living later in her life. Survivor benefits can be claimed as early as age 60 or 50 if you're disabled. But remember that if you claim at 60, the amount would be reduced. So young widows should not automatically file for their survivor benefits as soon as they turn 60. You need to analyze all of your Social Security claiming options before deciding when to file. To qualify for a survivor benefit, you must have been married to the person who died. Living together doesn't count. If he died during the marriage, you only need to have been married for 9 months. If he died after you divorced, that marriage must have lasted at least 10 years. By the way, same-sex couples can now get Social Security benefits if they are or were legally married. Now, when planning ahead for when you might be on your own, remember that you can receive the higher of your survivor benefit or your retirement benefits, but not both. So if Jack is receiving $2,976 and Jill is receiving her spousal benefits of $1,200, Let's say she doesn't qualify for Social Security on her own work record. She can jump up to Jack's benefit of $2,976 after he dies, but her $1,200 benefit will stop. Jill should plan ahead for this loss of income, and we can help you with that. If your ex-husband dies, and if you're either unmarried or you're married and the marriage took place after age 60, you may qualify for a divorced spouse survivor benefit. A lot of women won't think of this, especially if they are married or were married and divorced many years ago. For example, Sam and Sue were married from 1970 to 1985. Sam died in 1995. Sue has not remarried. As soon as she turns 60, she will become eligible for a divorced spouse survivor benefit. Remember, though, that if she starts it at 60, it will be reduced. So she might want to wait until she turns 66 or 67, whichever is her full retirement age. Just to summarize what we've been talking about, if you think you might outlive your spouse or ex-spouse, and the odds are you will, you want to encourage your spouse to wait until age 70 to start his Social Security benefit. Then you want to claim your survivor benefit at your full retirement age or later. Hopefully you'll be well over your full retirement age when your spouse dies, but just keep this bit of information in mind. And then you want to coordinate your survivor benefit with your own retirement benefit. Now let's talk about how to coordinate survivor benefits and retirement benefits. Remember, you never know when you might become eligible for survivor benefit, so it's worth tucking this information away for when you might need it. So what if you qualify for both a retirement benefit and a survivor benefit? This will be the case with most of you. Now, if you and your husband are well over 70 when he dies, it will be a straightforward matter of taking the higher benefit. You'll either switch to your husband's benefit and yours will stop, or his will stop and you'll keep receiving your own benefit. What I'm talking about now is if you're under age 70 and qualify for survivor benefits now, either because your husband has died or your ex-husband has died and you were married over 10 years. And you also qualify for Social Security benefits on your own work record. What you can do is switch from one benefit to the other, but you have to be strategic about this. I mean, you just can't go about it willy-nilly. You could start your own benefit at 62 and switch to your survivor benefit at full retirement age, or you could start your survivor benefit at 60 and switch to your own benefit at 70. Which of these two strategies you should do will depend on the respective amounts. What you want to do is take the higher benefit last. This will be your permanent benefit, which you will receive into your old age. So you want to maximize it as much as possible. And if you're in this situation, we can help you analyze that as well. Okay, if the survivor benefit is higher than the retirement benefit, you'll want to take the retirement benefit at 62 and switch to the survivor benefit at full retirement age. So in this example, Linda will start her own benefit of $700 at 62 and then switch to the full survivor benefit of $2,200 at age 66. Now, this is assuming that age 66 is Linda's full retirement age. Now, conversely, if the survivor benefit is lower than the retirement benefit, you'll want to take the survivor benefit at 60 as soon as you become eligible for it and switch to your retirement benefit at 70. In this case, Dora has a higher PIA. Her survivor benefit is $1,800, which is less than her own benefit. So she claims her survivor benefit at 60 and receives the reduced amount of $1,287 from age 60 to age 70. When she's 70, she switches to her maximum retirement benefit of $2,640. Note, if you're still working and under your full retirement age, all or part of your survivor benefit may be withheld for the earnings test. If you're divorced or widowed and thinking about remarrying, please keep these rules in mind. If you remarry at any age, you can't receive divorced spouse benefits. So if you're already receiving divorced spouse benefits and thinking about remarrying, understand that your divorced spouse benefit will stop. However, you may be able to get spousal benefits based on your new husband's record. If you remarry before age 60, you can't get survivor benefits or divorced spouse survivor benefits. If you remarry after age 60, you can still get survivor benefits or divorced spouse survivor benefits. I know the rules are hard to keep straight, but don't try to memorize them. If you have questions, you can always call me or you can call the Social Security Administration. Okay, so here's a summary of survivor planning if your spouse or ex-spouse is still living. If you're married, encourage your spouse to delay his benefit to age 70. As for your own benefit, consider your spouse's life expectancy. If your spouse has some health problems and may have a short life expectancy, you could go ahead and claim an early benefit on your own record because you'll be switching to the survivor benefit at some point. On the other hand, if your spouse is in good health and has a long life expectancy, you should maximize your own benefit by delaying it to age 70 because you'll be receiving it for many years before switching to the survivor benefit. This will maximize your income to you as a couple while you both are alive. If your spouse or ex-spouse is already deceased, do what we talked about earlier. Compare your own benefit to your survivor benefit and take the higher benefit last. To preserve your survivor benefit, do not remarry before age 60, no matter how much you love the guy. Just do what you want. Just remember that if you remarry before age 60, any survivor benefits you might be entitled to from a previous spouse record will not be available to you unless the remarriage ends. Okay, so here's a summary of the strategies depending on your marital status. If you're currently married, coordinate your benefits with your spouse. To optimize your benefits, one or both of you would delay the start of benefits to age 70 in order to earn the maximum 8% annual delayed credits. One of you can receive a spousal benefit from age 66 to 70, providing you had turned 62 at the end of 2015, and depending on your respective ages. Remember, your spouse must have filed for his benefit in order for you to receive a spousal benefit. So if he's 70 when you turn 66, you could file for your spousal benefit because he will have already filed for his benefit. But if you're the same age, this wouldn't work. You can't take a spousal benefit until he files, and he will want to wait until age 70 to maximize his benefit for himself while he's alive and for you after he dies. In this case, the delayed credits he would get later are worth more than the spousal benefits you would get now. If you are divorced, consider maximizing your benefits by delaying it to age 70. Receive your divorced spouse benefits from age 66 to 70. Again, you must have turned 62 by the end of 2015. If you are widowed, coordinate your retirement and survivor benefits. Take the higher benefit last. If you've never been married, you're on your own with no help from spousal benefits. Consider maximizing your own benefit by working as long as possible and applying for Social Security at age 70. Regardless of your current marital status, if you have a former spouse who's deceased, consider that survivor benefits as a possible resource as long as you did not remarry before age 60. I know this is a lot, remember, because it's a lot for me to say. If nothing else, I hope I have opened your eyes to some of the possibilities with Social Security. You may be entitled to more benefits than you realized. For help with your individual situation, you can either make an appointment and talk to me or someone at Social Security Administration. Just be aware that Social Security workers don't always take into consideration your longer-term financial plan. They often recommend the strategy that will give you the highest benefit right now. This isn't, again, always what you want. And as we wrap up, consider this. You could live to age 95 or 100. It's not so far-fetched today. Savvy women are arranging their financial affairs to keep the income flowing just in case they do live to age 95. Social Security is one of your best income sources because it provides inflation-adjusted income for as long as you live. The decisions you make in your 60s will determine the amount of income you have in your 70s, 80s, and 90s, and the difference between early and late claiming will grow as annual cost of living adjustments cause the higher amount to grow faster than the lower amount. And during the start of benefits, it will give you more income later in life. And coordinating spousal and survivor benefits may give you extra income while you delay your main benefit. But Social Security benefits should not be made in isolation. Social Security alone is not enough income for most people, so you should make Social Security decisions within the context of your overall income plan. And I want to thank everyone for listening to me today and for your kind attention.
Awesome. That was a ton of great information. I appreciate you sharing all of that with us. As as you can see, there's a ton of details, there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of different options of, starting one and then moving to the other. So it's very clear why a professional really helps. And B, if you've been home taking care of the kids or having a job that pays less than your partner, how it's really important to talk to each other about that plan there, as that leads to long time effects of how much income you are receiving. So I do think I already have two people's names to send you for the complimentary report. So I can send you those off the call. But this has been so much great information. I think, if people have more questions, they should definitely reach out, because everyone's situation is so unique. And you've shown that by the year you're born and your partner, and if you've been a widow and when you might have been remarried. There's so many different things that it's not just, we can't answer all the questions. We just have to have a one-on-one conversation to understand our story, our picture, and how that plays out.
Absolutely. And it's really important for women because, like I said, we don't make as much as men, typically speaking. And so we have lower benefits and we live longer. Living longer is good as long as you have some money to live on.
Right. And just seeing how some of those numbers really exponentially change as you get older is really amazing. Knowing how much those decisions in your 60s affect your 90s is amazing. So I thank you, Diane, for coming on and sharing this information. Yeah. And if you're not one of the lucky winners, you can still talk to Diane about getting your Social Security report and having that conversation, because you can see it leads to a long time effect of different things. So please reach out to Diane. Her email's been going through the bottom, jrobinson@ipfinancialservicesllc.com. She's also one of our Purse Strings approved professionals, so you can reach out to her off our site, pursestrings.co. Thank you again, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you.
Goodbye.